After the success of I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, Keenen screened the film for studio executives in the hopes of getting a movie deal. The first callback he got was from Fox, but it wasn't for film, it was for TV. Keenen was a bit disappointed, but the executives told him that he'd had free rein to do what he wanted. Fox was a new network looking for fresh content. They made the pilot episode featuring Men on Film, Homeboy Shopping Network, and The Wrath of Farrakhan. The pilot episode almost didn't air at all. After being promised free rein, the executives were already trying to censor the show out of fear of backlash. They wanted to air a tamer version and work up to the more controversial topics. Keenen did not agree with that idea. He said he wanted to kick the door in guns blazing. "I don't want to trick the audience," he said. "I want them to know what we're about from the start." It took almost a year to air the pilot due to market research, approvals, and screenings. Jim Carrey was one of the few white comedians to be a main cast member. He started his career in stand-up as a teenager in Canada, eventually becoming the sole breadwinner for his family. He developed an act that featured physical comedy mixed with impressions. He auditioned to be a cast member of Saturday Night Live for the 80-81 season, but he was passed up. In 1984, Carey starred in the failed sitcom The Duck Factory, and in many people's opinion, they didn't capitalize on Carey's comedic chops, and the show was canceled after one season. As fate would have it though, Carey worked a lot of clubs with Damon Wayans. And when it came time to casting the show, Damon suggested Carey to his big brother. Carey played a bunch of memorable characters, most notably, though, Fire Marshal Bill, and a very funny Vanilla Ice parody music video. Even when Carey played a small part in a sketch, he would steal the scene with his over-the-top comedic approach. Grier wasn't a comedian. In fact, he was a classically trained actor. After leaving high school, Grier attended the University of Michigan for a BA in radio and television, and a Master of Fine Arts from the Yale School of Drama. After leaving Yale, Grier landed a role on Broadway, playing Jackie Robinson. He then went to work for National Public Radio in a radio adaptation of Star Wars. Grier was nominated for a Tony Award for Best Actor in a Musical, and he won the Theatre World Award for The First. He played James Thunder in the Broadway musical hit Dreamgirls, and won a Golden Lion for Best Actor. Grier wanted to try his hand at comedy though, so he auditioned for a part on I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, where he met Keenen Ivory Wayans. Grier's most notable roles on In Living Color include Anton Merriweather in the Men on Film sketch, megaphone blaring shop teacher Al McAfee, blues player Mr. Brooks, and Tiny. After the cancellation of In Living Color, Grier returned to Broadway and his roots. Tommy was abandoned and left for dead in a pile of trash by his birth mother at 18 months old. The woman who found him and took him to the hospital would go on to adopt him. Tommy grew up in a household with white parents and white siblings. Tommy was a natural comedian and was encouraged to pursue a career in stand-up by his friends. He started in D.C. and made his way into the clubs in Baltimore and Philly. In 1987, Tommy won an amateur stand-up competition at the Apollo Theater. He then moved to Hollywood to take his career to the next level. He quickly became friends with Martin Lawrence, who lived in the same building. He got a gig at the Comedy Store where he met Robert Townsend. Townsend saw Tommy perform and asked him to be his warm-up guy for his upcoming HBO special. And of course, Robert Townsend was a longtime friend of Keenen Ivory Wayans. Tommy was encouraged to audition for the show, which he did. He was offered a job on the show, but he almost turned it down because he was also offered a role as Eddie Murphy's little brother in Coming to America, the TV series, which actually never made it past the pilot episode. Some of Tommy's most memorable performances on the show included Sammy Davis Jr., MC Hammer, and Michael Jackson impressions. Other members of the original cast included Takaya Crystal Kamen and Kelly Cofield. Jamie Foxx later joined the cast in Season 3, with many memorable characters. Several guest stars came to the show, notably Chris Rock and rapper Biz Markie. The show became popular very fast. A show like this in the 90s was groundbreaking and controversial. In 1990, In Living Color won an Emmy for Outstanding Variety, Music, or Comedy Series. The show also won an Image Award in 92 and 94. Things were going great for this ragtag group of comedians. In 1992, a decision was made to run an episode against the Super Bowl halftime show. The halftime show before 1992 was pretty lame. Usually it featured some college marching bands, maybe a performance from an Elvis impersonator. The 1992 Super Bowl halftime show was an ode to the Winter Olympics, which is nothing like the performances we see today. As Keenen said in an interview, halftime was when everyone got up and went to the bathroom, maybe got something to eat. What if instead they flipped the Fox and watched In Living Color instead? The episode was titled In Living Color's Super Bowl Halftime Party, and primarily featured sketches about football, or was directly about the Super Bowl. Sketches included Men on Football, Homeboy Shopping Network Special Super Bowl Sale, Fire Marshal Bill demonstrating a safe Super Bowl party, and Jim Carrey as background guy during a Super Bowl interview. They kept a countdown timer on screen so viewers knew when the game would resume. The show was a success, and roughly 22 million people changed the channel to Fox during halftime. The following year, Michael Jackson headlined the Super Bowl halftime show, and every year since they've booked a major musical act to perform at halftime. So basically, In Living Color made the halftime show such a spectacle that it is today. As with all good things, the show eventually had to come to an end. It's really a shame the way the whole thing went down. Keenen had been battling executives since day one, which caused a lot of tension in the creative process. It was extremely frustrating, but manageable. Things came to a head during season 4, which prompted Keenen to literally walk away from the show he created. Fox made the decision to start airing reruns of the show without ever consulting Keenen. They were using the show to launch other shows, and Keenen felt that this move was severely devaluing the show, which he would own the syndication rights to the following year. In a show of solidarity, brothers Marlon and Damon left as well. Kim and Sean were contractually obligated to finish the season. Season 5 didn't feature a single member of the Wayans family, and looking back on the episodes, it wasn't the same cutting-edge show it once was. All the Wayans featured on the show went on to have successful careers outside of In Living Color in the years that followed. This video is part 3 of a series. Part 1 is an intro to the Wayans family and their childhood and the career of Keenen, and part 2 features the career of Damon. Thanks for checking us out, and if you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe for more videos just like this.